Political stunts, I tell you, they don't come much weirder than this. The Greens today issue a release to say they've got one seat in the lower house parliament, I might remind people. They're going to call everybody that's their front benchers shadow ministers. Now, Mark, you and I know the only people who have shadow ministers are the opposition, because at some point in the election cycle, the opposition becomes government, those shadow ministers become ministers. This is extraordinary. Unless the Greens have done a deal with Albanese, that there's some sort of secret coalition they're not telling us about, but there's no way Lydia Thorpe, let's say, is the Shadow Minister for Indigenous Affairs. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, Peter, a shadow ministry has a shadow cabinet, and you'd have to assume the Green shadow cabinet meetings would be like the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, wouldn't it? I mean, maybe they can franchise this as some sort of Netflix comedy they can put out there, but the Greens with shadow ministries, of course, is a nonsense. They put out a policy statement to say that they'd sort of be in coalition with Labor in government, and they'd be wanting to drive climate change policies and do something about inequality. But those two things don't match up, because the Greens' climate change policy is to close the coal industry yesterday and to throw hundreds of thousands of people in the Hunter Valley in central Queensland on the welfare scrap heap. Actually creating inequality is the Greens' policy. So, you know, it's madness to think of them as shadow ministers, and even worse, to look at their policy prescriptions that don't match up.